Hello everybody, welcome to my kitchen. I'm excited to share a couple of really good recipes with you. So I don't know, some of you may keep a garden, some of you may have a neighbor that keeps a garden, and usually there comes a time in the season where we have to roll up our car windows because otherwise we might get dropped off zucchini in them. Or we might be giving zucchini away because all of a sudden the plants just kind of explode and there's lots and lots and lots of zucchini that we have no idea what to do with. So I'm going to show you what to do with some of the zucchini that you may not know what to do with. So usually when you go to the garden, you're looking for this size or this size of yellow squash, and this is like the ideal size because they're nice and tender and they're small and the seeds are small, and so this is usually the size that we want to go with. But every so often, we go out to the garden and we move a leaf and we find this. And we're like, wow, what do I do with this? Do I use it as a baseball bat? Do I use it as a rolling pin? Do I just let it rot? Do I, what do I do with this? Because the skin is a little bit harder. But you can do a lot with this. A lot. And I'm going to show you two absolutely awesome recipes that you can use for something like this or a beast like this. So either one, they have kind of the same texture, but you can use them interchangeably. But I'm going to show you two recipes that you can use these up, and these actually give more yield for the recipes than what the little itty bitty ones do, obviously. But the recipes are absolutely delicious. One of them is a crisp and the other is like a burger patty type thing. And they're absolutely delicious. You wouldn't even know that there's zucchini in them or that it was, the big kind of zucchini that you used. So anyway, I'm excited to share these recipes with you. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So you want to start with a nice big bowl. And then I have all of my sliced zucchini, and what I did is I peeled it, I quartered it, I scooped out the inner side part, and then I just chopped it in, well, I don't know, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch type slices. And then I'm actually going to add some cherries to this recipe. And when we do the liquid part, I'm gonna tell you why. Well, I guess I could just tell you why now. So, for the part that thickens up, you usually use apple juice concentrate. Well, we grabbed what we thought was apple juice concentrate, and turns out it was apple cherry. So, yeah. So we're adding cherries to our crisp. And you can add as many cherries as you want. And honestly, you can add any other fruit with this that you want. You could add cranberries to it, you can add blueberries, blackberries, whatever you want to do. I mean, it's basically just like a crisp. So we're gonna mix those up, and then we are going to do the liquid part of it. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we have our pan. And we're going to put our heat on medium, and I'm going to pour in my apple cherry juice concentrate. And the nice thing about this is you don't have to add any refined sugar. Then I'm going to add the cherry juice from the frozen cherries that I added in. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And I'm just going to mix it. Alright, we're going to continue to stir this until it's thickened. Now, if you feel adventurous, you can turn your heat all the way up to high, and you'll get it thickened much faster. But if you do that, you have to make sure you stand by your pan. Otherwise, it will catch you off guard. Alright, I'm stirring for, I don't know, a couple minutes, and I did turn it on high, feeling adventurous. So you want it to be You don't want it to, yes, you want it to be like a thick, syrupy yumminess. Now I will mention, which I forgot to when I added everything together, when you put the cornstarch in, make sure that this is cold, because if you try to put the cornstarch in directly when it's hot, oh, you're gonna end up with a huge mess. All right, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna pour it on top of our zucchini fruit mixture. All right, so we have our thickened juice concentrate. I'm just gonna pour this right on top. Be careful, it is hot. Don't burn yourself. Make sure you get every last little drop out of there. All right. And then you're just gonna mix it together. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pour this into our 9 by 13 pan. All right, grab our dish. And I am gonna spray it just a little bit, not necessarily because it's gonna stick, but I don't know. It seems like when you spray a dish, especially when you're working with like a fruit or a pie or crisp or something like that, it's easier to clean, you know, when it gets all, when it starts to bubble on the sides and gets all sticky and yummy and gooey. Just seems easier to clean when you spread it first. So put all this yumminess in here. Oh, this smells amazing. I love cherries, especially tart cherries. Tart cherries with a little bit of honey in it, and on top of pancakes with peanut butter. Oh, so good. Okay, anyway, we're doing crisp, not pancakes. Maybe we'll do pancakes sometime. That'd be a fun recipe to do. All right, so we have all this in here. Now we are going to work on our crisp topping. Okay, so for our topping, we need a bowl, another bowl. We got oats. These are rolled oats. You could use quick oats too, whatever you have on hand. Then I have oat flour. Now you could use whole wheat pastry flour if you want, but I'm using oat flour because that makes it gluten-free. You can also use gluten-free flour blend if you want, but it just seems easier and cheaper just to use ground up oats. So to make the oat flour, what I did is I put the oats into a blender, and then I just blended it until it was flour. Then we have chopped nuts. I used walnuts and coconut. Now this is like a fine macaroon type coconut, and you can use the shreds or you can use the big chunk stuff, whatever your preference is. Then I have some sucanat. Now you can use sucanat, you can use, which is an unrefined type sugar, or you could use date sugar, you could use real sugar if you want, you know, white sugar or sugar in the raw, any kind of sweetener. But just make sure it's like a dry type sweetener, otherwise the consistency might be off just a little bit. Then we have a little bit of salt. Now we're going to mix this together. All right, we got that mixed. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of oil. Now oil is optional. There's not hardly any, but it does give the crisp a bit of a different texture than if you don't use it at all. All right, and you see it's still kind of dry. That's when we add some water. Now, just do a little at a time because you don't want it super wet, but you also don't want it super dry. You want it to where you can squeeze it and it holds its shape, but to where it will break apart easily for you when you mess with it. I'll show you once I get it just right. All right, so what we have here is the perfect mixture. So if I take a handful of it and I squish it together, it'd probably make like a delicious cookie ball. But if I just pinch it lightly, it just falls right apart. So that's about where you want the consistency of this, to where it's not too dry, not too moist, just spot on. All right, we're gonna add this to our zucchini thingy, crisp part, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna add it to that other thing that we were making. All right, so we have our crisp, or it's not quite a crisp yet, I guess that's just the fruit part. Just gonna press it down a little bit. And then we're gonna put all this delicious topping on it. Just smooth it around evenly. Now another thing you could do, which I totally forgot until I started putting this on, if you didn't want to use oil, and you didn't want to use water either, what you could do is you could put some, like, you know, the coconut milk that's in the can. You could put some of that in it to give it some moisture and get it to where it has like little clumps here and there. And that works really well too. Now, whatever you do when you're making this, do not just pick up a piece of it like that and eat it. Because if you do, you might want to eat like the whole thing just raw. And actually you could if you wanted to, because I mean it's oats. So, all right, we are going to bake this at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. All right, our crisp is done and it smells absolutely amazing. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? If you didn't know that there was zucchini in there, you probably would not even be able to tell. All right, let's scoop out a little bit here. Show it to you. Oh yeah. Look at that. Doesn't that look absolutely delicious? Oh, smells delicious. I know it's gonna taste delicious because I've tasted it before without having the cherries in it. So I know with having the cherries in it, it's probably gonna taste even better. Unless you don't like cherries, but yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this recipe. I know you're going to enjoy this recipe, and I look forward to sharing some more recipes with you soon. You guys all have a wonderful day.